J-Flexx, man. Happy to have you on the platform, my man.
Yes, sir, man. Appreciate being here.
Yeah, man. Platinum songwriter, infamous ghostwriter, legend on many blocks and a lot of conversations. Happy to have you on the platform, my man.
Brother, it's an honor.
Yeah, man. So, where are you from?
I'm from Dayton, Ohio, land of the funk, baby.
How was it like growing up in Ohio, man?
Well, that's the thing that I think endeared me to the West Coast so much because, you know, a lot of the West Coast is based on the funk. So my town, Dayton, Ohio, they had Ohio Players, Heat Wave, Slave, Roger, you know, Roger and Zap, you know what I mean? Slave. These are the groups that I grew up listening to, going to see live. You know what I mean? They play in Island Park, Ohio Players, you know, Zap. Roger used to come out with a sock on back then. They called him Roger in the Human Body. You know what I mean? So I just grew up around funk, man. And my dad was a singer. My mom was a singer. So, you know, it was musical, you know, always music everywhere, you know.
So let's start it off with Natural Born Killaz and how you met and wrote Dr. Dre's verse. Give me the backstory on that.
All right, well, me and my buddy Gene had just got out the military, you know. We had sold up Maryland pretty much because I was doing music when I was in the military and everything. So, you know, he was like, hey, man, we should go to L.A. because we had set up a meeting at Solar. Back then, Solar they was the niggas that had the Whispers and all of them dudes, you know, Shalimar and all them. So, but it was a black-owned company, Dick Griffey. So we were supposed to meet Dick Griffey. So we come out here, and my buddy Gene was trying to convince me to move out here. He's like, man, we gonna have to move out here because we ain't gonna catch nobody in 2 weeks. We was only supposed to come 2 weeks, meet this guy, shop our dinner, whatever. So I'm like, man, we gonna starve out here. I ain't moving out here. So he trying to talk me into it. I'm trying to change the subject. I see a Ferrari pulling up next to us, right? So I'm like, hey, look at this Ferrari right here. He like, whatever, nigga, you know. I'm like, nah, that look like Dr. Dre in that motherfucker, right? So he's like, hell nah. Pull up, it's Dre at the light next to us, right? So the homie roll down the window, get to getting at him. And so Dre said, all right, pull over in this Jack in the Box right here. So Dre pulled over. We pulled over. You know, we had our tape. We ready. I got the demo, everything. We ready. So we get him the tape. I said, you know, we ain't professionals, but we trying to do it. He like, I know what to listen for. You know what I mean? And so already it was a crowd starting to gather. So, you know, he can't stay put for too long. So he like, I'll check out y'all video. Tell you what, he gave us passes to this party. He said, come to this 4th of July party, and I'll let you know what I think about the demo because I got to go because here come people. So he hop in the Ferrari, bone out. So then I'll tell the homie, oh, yeah, let's move out this month. I'm ready to move now, you know. So we get to the party. It's like a week later. We get to the party, and I said, hey, man, what you think about the tape? You know, he was like, at first he didn't remember me. I'm like, he ain't even listened to that shit. Then he was like, oh, yeah, that shit was dope. Look, don't leave after this. I'm going to hook you up with my boy. Don't leave. After the party, stay here. So I go back, tell the homie. He said that shit was fire. Stay here. Don't move. Like, so the homie ain't believing me. You know what I mean? I'm like, nah. He said stay put. So after the party, we sat down. You know, he was like, your shit is dope, man. And he told me, this my man Sam Snead right here. I was like, yeah, Sam Snead, you better recognize. I knew that part already from. So he was like, yeah, this him. He was like, he working on the album right now. He needs some help on the album. Maybe y'all can get it in, right? So I'm like, bet. So man, we in the party, like I had never seen a party like this. It's like Jada Pinkett and them there, and Pam from Martin, like all kind of stars and shit. Like, so I'm tripping off top. You know what I mean? And then he say that he liked the shit, and he tell me, you know, the next morning he said he called us and said, hey, I'm having a barbecue at my house. Come to the house, right? So we go out to the house. Go back in the studio and Snead in there, and they got up the Natural Born Killaz track. You know what I mean? Just the next day. You know, so he said, you got something for that? I'm like, yeah. Snead asked me, you got something for that? I'm like, yeah, I got something. So initially I was supposed to write Snead's verse. So I go in, hit that shit, Journey with Me into the mind of a maniac, don't to be a killer. You know what I mean? And so Dre came in and heard it, was like, who is that? He's like, that's Flex. Make me a tape of that, right? So they was shooting you remember Murder Was the Case? Moved like it was a video, but it was a long movie damn near.
Right.
So they was shooting that. And so he's like, I gotta go to the video shoot. Y'all come up there. You know what I mean? So we like, all right, cool. So Sneed make him a tape of it or whatever. So we get up to the video shoot. I hear myself like bumping out the Ferrari, like niggas standing around like, who is that? Dre point at me, like, Flex, right? So he tells Sneed, hey, I'ma spit that verse. You know what I mean? You know, so because initially it was supposed to be Dre and Sneed on there. Then Q heard it, and Q was like, shit, let me do the hook. First Q was just gonna do the hook. Then Q was like, nah, fuck that. Let me get on that motherfucker. So Sneed got kicked off. You know what I mean? And so, but to make Sneed happy, they gave him better recognized on the soundtrack. So he was cool. And so they was like, well, where y'all staying at? We was staying at Motel 6 or somewhere by the airport. And then they was like, Dre said, you ain't got to stay there no more. You stay at the penthouse. So, bro, literally, we wasn't here 2 weeks. I'm already up in the penthouse on Wilshire, bro, like kicking it. You know what I mean? So it all happened so fast, bro. Like, and that's why I can't really be bitter now, because I know how it jump off. It can happen just like that again. You know what I mean? So that was my entree into, you know, the whole Death Row Dr. Dre world right there, man.
Were you on set for the video shoot for Natural Born Killaz?
Yeah, we went to the set. I wasn't in the video, but we visited, you know, when they was doing the whole one that looked like Nicole and Ron or whatever. You know, we pulled up on it. I've been on the set of all the videos I wrote, but I wasn't in none of them, you know. And that was by choice. You know what I mean? Like, I could have been in them, but I was like, nah, I'm cool, you know.
Tupac had a cameo in that video, right? He like played a sniper.
He played the sniper that took Dre and them out. He played the police sniper that took them out. And the daddy from Good Times was the police captain or whatever. Yeah.
Who idea was it for Tupac to be in that video?
I'm not sure how he got in the video, man. But my guess was Suge's, because Suge was already courting Tupac at that point. You know what I mean? So that would be my guess, but I'm not sure whose idea it was.
How was it on set?
It was like a mini movie, dog. It was like a movie shoot. One thing about Dre, they was really in a good creative phase right then, and he was trying to get his director chops wet or whatever. So he's studying what F. Gary Gray and them doing, and you know, like, so it was a real creative vibe. You know, it wasn't really no foolishness or nothing like that. You know.
Another song you wrote for Dr. Dre was Keep Their Heads Ringin, right?
Yeah.
For the Friday soundtrack?
Yes, sir.
Give me the backstory on that, my man.
Well, by that time, you know, we had moved out here. You know, we was kicking it. You know, everybody was writing, and he just called me and was like, "I need a lyric." I'm like, "All right, cool." Dre was really good about concepts. You know what I mean? So he was like, "The concept is keep their heads ringing, like he ringing their bells, like he getting some top." You know what I mean? So that's why he say, "I know you bobbing your head because I can see you, but you can't see me." He talking about getting top. So he was trying to think of a like subtle way to say it. So he was like, keep the heads ringing. And then he had the idea from the old sequence jam, ring, ding, dong. Remember the sequence joint? That going way back, you know. And so he's like, you got lyrics? Like, yeah, I got lyrics, you know. And so I spit them. How I would do it was I would go in, spit the joint, and then he would make a tape of it, listen to it, and learn it, just like you be riding on the radio, listening to something. And then he would go spit it over top of me and then take mine out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so, I never knew that, man. I never knew that was the meaning behind that song. So the meaning behind it was him pretty much getting head.
Getting top. I know you bobbing your head because I could see you. but you can't see me. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, man,
So,
that's crazy, man.
It's
Yeah,
little hidden gem there that y'all niggas didn't know. Ring ding dong. He talking about ringing y'all bell.
Yeah, man.
So
So Nancy Fletcher, she was on that song as well, right?
yeah,
How was it like working with her?
Nancy was dope. As far as I'll say, Nancy was like a female Nate Dogg, bro, because she could come in and make any hook thick. You tell her what to sing, and she would sing it. You know, like
Underrated,
Dre,
man.
yeah, underrated. And Dre loved working with her because she was easy to work with. You know what I mean? And she was one of his go-tos as far as for hooks and background vocals and stuff like that, bro. Yeah, Nancy was cool.
Yeah, man. Cool person, man. One of the homies, man.
Yeah.
Underrated, man.
Yeah,
Real
highly underrated. And Nancy really was like one of the caretakers for Bow Wow when he was over there. She used to watch Bow Wow a lot.
Oh,
and
for real?
stuff like she used to look at the little Bow Wow and make sure he was all right. You know what I mean? Because he was younger than my daughter at that point. He was 8 or 9 talking about Ace Ventura. Alrighty then. He used to say that shit all the time. Alrighty then. You know what I mean?
So Bow Wow, man. How was it like with Bow Wow being around Death Row, being around that environment?
He was just a kid, man. He wasn't, he wasn't like Hershey Loke and them. Like them little niggas was hard already. You know what I mean? But Bow Wow was still like just a kid. He was just a regular kid, with some talent. Like Hirsch was already a gangster. He was already a little baby gangster by that time. But yeah, Bow Wow was cool though. He was young at that point, 8 or 9.
You also co-wrote one of Tupac's most popular songs, man, California Love.
Yes, sir.
Give me the backstory behind it.
Well, that was another one where Dre already had the concept. You know what I mean? He was like, I want to make an anthem. That originally started, Dre was working on the whole new album. He started a new album. So he initially he had 3 verses on that joint. You know what I mean? And so he was like, I want to make a jam about California, So I was like, well, shit, I can do that. I love this motherfucker. You know what I mean? It's my adopted home. So we can easily do that. So cooked up some lyrics, man. Spit them. He learned them. And then he spit them. And so it was 3 verses. We had one in the can. We started working on a couple other ones. I remember Roger came to Dre's house. We cut that at Dre's house. And he came in a yellow suit with some red socks on, bro, with a stack of 20s in the sock. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, yeah, this is my homeboy, this nigga from Dayton. You know what I mean? So I told him I was from Dayton. He was like, what? He knew some of my aunties, and, we chopped it up. So, that was a good experience, man, working with Roger and Dre. And they bought the horns in, like, it was live instruments, and I just watched that song go from 0 to 100. You know what I mean? And Roger was in there with his little talk box and doing his thing. And the funny thing is, bro, we used to have to every 15, 20 minutes he'd take the tube out of his mouth and swing it around the room. We standing around like how y'all are right now. He'd take the tube out and swing that motherfucker around, bro. You got to duck like, hey, hold up, Roger, hold up. You know what I mean? Because it's spit going everywhere, man. Put it back in his mouth, So, but it was an experience, man. Like, we knew it was gonna be a hit off top. You know what I mean? As soon as I heard the beat, the Joe Cocker and
the beat, like listening to the beat alone, I mean, you can say, yeah.
So as soon as I heard that Joe Cocker loop, and I think EPMD had used it, but not like that. And as soon as I heard that, I was like, Dre, you got one, bro. You got one. He's like, yeah, I got one. He's like, this gonna be the one right here. And then when Pac came, he just, he gave Pac one of his coldest ones. You know what I mean? And it's like, here you go. And took his second and third verse off, and Pac came in and blasted it. You know what I mean? So it was already a hit before Pac got on it. So for him to get on it, that was the turbocharger, just sent it through the roof. You know
it was
what I mean?
already a hit before Pac got on it. But when Pac got on it, it just took it to another
level.
It
turbocharged it. Like, it shot it through the roof. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that was it. That was an experience, bro.
But was there some issues behind that song?
As far as my money go, it was some issues because Well, the problem was it was 3 or 4 samples in that song. You had Joe Cocker, you had West Coast Pop Lock, you had Heartbreaker from Roger. You know what I mean? And plus Roger had redid the West Coast Pop Lock and used it. So you have 4 or 5 people trying to take the money out of there, plus Tupac, plus Dre, and then it's my turn. So, you know, I'm like, well, damn. You know what I mean? The sample ate up all the money, but somehow y'all got paid. You know what I mean? But that's, you know, neither here or there. What they can't take is the fact that I was part of that song. You know what I mean? So every time I hear it on the radio, bro, and that's often, you know what I mean? It's like, if I'm having a down day, I can hear it and I'll be like, oh yeah, I'm that nigga. You know what I mean? Like, so, you know, that's one positive thing that's gonna stick with me, you know.
Yeah, man. So all the rumors about people forcing Dr. Dre to give their song to Tupac, and I think I heard a story about Suge Knight went to Dr. Dre's house and forced him to give Tupac a song or something. All that was lies. Dr. Dre willingly picked
Well, I mean, the thing about it is, niggas gonna push shit on everything, bro. Like Frank's Red Hot, you know what I mean? But I mean, Suge really did show up to Dre's house because I was there that day.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But it wasn't that type of party. As far as the California Love, Dre he knew it was gonna be a hit, and he just was like, well, this is, you know, he gonna give Pac some of his best stuff. You know what I mean? Because Dre is a perfectionist. You know what I mean? So he not just gonna throw any old little beat to Pac like, oh, here you go. You know, like when he got out of jail, man, it was like if somebody had took a balloon and just kept blowing air in it, but never tied it off, just kept blowing air in it. That was him sitting in jail. You know what I mean? And then when they let that nigga out, they let the air out. And all that shit came out. That's how he was so prolific, man. He had all that. He was sitting in there with nothing else to do but make up shit. When I get out, I'm going to do this, that. So when they let him loose, man, he was one of the most prolific guys I ever seen as far as the concept of a song, writing it, doubling it, getting it ready. You know what I mean? I think he came out of jail on a Thursday or Friday. And by like Monday or Tuesday, All Eyes on Me was done. The rest of the time was mixing and, you know, mastering, bringing in guests and all that type of shit. But as far as Tupac work on that, bro, probably 4 or 5 days he did All Eyes on Me, dog. Like, this dude was a beast as far as work ethic and being a prolific artist. Forget about it, bro. Nobody could touch him. Nobody.
Out of curiosity, before Tupac joined Death Row, when he was still in prison, was it rumors going around Death Row? Like, did y'all already know that he was going to join Death Row prior to him officially joining the label?
I think he had did a song on one of the soundtracks, maybe a Bud of Rim soundtrack or something like that. He had did a couple joints on there. And then Thug Life was signed to Interscope, and he was signed to Interscope. And so, you know, I think Snoop gave him the idea when he got locked, when the whole shit happened in New York, when he got shot and all that. I think once they realized there wasn't nobody gonna get him out, I think Snoop went at Suge, but Suge was already trying to get Pac anyway. You know what I mean? And then when he got shot and went to jail and all that, you know, Jimmy them was like, you can have him. You know what I mean? And from what I heard, the same thing with Game. Like, they was trying to give Game to Dre or whoever. You know what I mean? Like Interscope, they scary, bro. If it's like some nigga shit, y'all go ahead and handle that. You know what I mean? I'm gonna keep it real. You know, and that's what I think happened. Tupac was getting into a lot of stuff, and that was too much nigga shit for Interscope. And they like, yo, Suge, you want, you know. And Suge was down to do it anyway, because, you know, he looking out for niggas at that point. So, then we start hearing, hey, Pac coming. You know what I mean? And so, then next thing you know, he was there, bro. I remember the day I met him.
Tell me about that.
We was it was Can-Am. You know what I mean? That's where the shit was going down, Can-Am. So I had just stopped by there, see if anybody had some bud. And turned out Snoop was there and Pac was there. And they was doing Tour of America's Most Wanted at the time. Came in. Snoop was like, hey, this is J-Flexx. This is the nigga that be writing for Dre, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, hey, man, good to see you. You know what I mean? He was like, good to be seen, bro. Roll this up, you know. So twisted one and blew it with him. And Snoop gave me a little bud and I bounced. You know what I mean? That's the first time I met him.
So Dr. Dre was cool with Tupac joining the label. Because you know it have been rumors going around that Dr. Dre really didn't agree with Tupac joining Death Row. So from your point of view, Dr. Dre was cool with him joining the label.
Man, he was cool with Pac coming, bro. He welcomed Pac. He gave Pac his best track. Right. That was the best track that we had did to that point. We had 3 or 4 more in the can that was hard as hell. But it wasn't anthem like that one. You know what I mean? So if he didn't want Pac to be there, bro, he would have just threw him off some bullshit. You know what I mean? He gave Pac one of his top tracks.
And he gave him Can't See Me, underrated song too.
Yeah, with George Clinton. Come on, bro. You know what I mean? He gave him 2 of his favorites is what he did.
Yeah, good point. Yeah. Good point.
You know.
So was you on set for the California Love video?
I was. Not for the remix, but I was there for the desert one.
The Mad Max.
Yeah, the Mad Max joint. Yeah.
Yeah, tell me
it was
about
out in the middle of the desert, man. I remember that. It was out in the middle of the desert. It was cold as shit. And they all had on the weird futuristic shit. And they was like, hey, you want to gear up real quick? And I was like, nah, I'm cool. You know, but everybody was drunk on that motherfucker. I know that. Everybody was drunk. And it just looked like some futuristic. It really looked like some Mad Max shit because everybody was out there dressed in the futuristic Mad Max shit. But then you had gangsters over here. You had bras over here. You know what I mean? Like, what the hell is this? Like, if somebody would have came up on that and not knew what it was, they'd have been like, what the hell's going on out here? Yeah.
And it was an incident with Chris Tucker on set, right?
Well, where he almost died or something?
Yeah.
I guess he had almost fell off one of the buggies or something, man. Yeah, Chris, he'd make that shit funny though. You know what I mean? It wasn't funny, but just that nigga just funny, bro. Like, but yeah, it was a near accident, but he was all right. He didn't get hurt or nothing, but he could have. Yeah.
Right. Was there any other drama on set?
Nah, not really, man. It wasn't really no drama, but I had started feeling the tension that night. You know, I started seeing the changes. You know what I mean? Like, oh wait, something's amiss. You know what I mean? Dre was drunk. You know, everybody was drunk. You know what I mean? But it was kind of like I started feeling a little tension. Like, you know what I mean? You know how if you from the hood, you can sense when it's like, hey, some shit kind of thick in the air. You know what I mean? Like, I wonder what's going on.
That caught your attention. That was
I don't know. Pocket said something, and then nigga was like, yeah, we got your back though, Pac. And then he said some shit like, oh man, you niggas wouldn't do shit for me. You know what I mean? Like, and then like he was all like they was shooting a little video like, if you come to Death Row, that's when the little East Coast West little shit, you will get, you know, y'all see that footage all the time.
He got the money in his hand.
Right. So that wasn't the Tupac I met. You know what I mean? The Tupac I met was like, hey, good to be seen, bro. Twist this up, making music. It's, you know what I mean? It's a good vibe. It's a positive vibe. You know, this was a little bit later. This was I've been hanging with the Bloods now. Now I'm MOB. Now I'm, okay, you hard now. Okay, cuz, you good. You know what I mean? So, but still not enough for me to be like, what this nigga on? You know what I mean?
At that point.
It wasn't at that point yet. It was just like, he probably drunk.
Yeah, something you peeped, but it wasn't that serious.
I peeped it, but I was like, everybody drunk, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I was the nigga that come, hit up the scene, see what's up, you know, kick it, and then I'm ready to bounce. I'm ready to go find one and kick it like that. You know what I mean? Like, because I already knew I was the out of town nigga, and I knew from my cousins and them being from Compton and telling me this shit is real, bro. Like this ain't no fake Boys in the Hood TV shit. So I already knew it was real, and I knew how to move and shake, like to stay out of the way of that shit. You know what I mean? So.
And Jada Pinkett, she wrote the treatment for California Love, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think they told me she used to be around Death Row sometimes, especially when Pac got there, you know, but even the parties and stuff like that before he got there, she would be coming to the parties. I think she was cool with Michelle A or whatever, you know.
So she was around Death Row when Tupac got bailed out and joined the label?
Well, yeah, like I didn't see her around Death Row then, but the video shoots and stuff like that, yeah. But not the studio or nothing like that. But I used to see her at parties. Like I said, the first party I went to, they was there. You know, we sat and played spades with Jada Pinkett and Pam from Martin, Tashina, and Sunshine. I forgot her name. The late girl that played Sunshine, Leela something. You know what I'm talking about? Leela Rashawn or something like that. You know, so they used to all kick it.
So Jada Pinkett, she wrote the treatment for the video, but she wasn't on set for the California Love video, right?
I didn't see her at the video. Not at that video, nah.
Because I heard some rumor, I don't know if you know anything about it, but was it like some rumor like Will Smith didn't want her to be on set because of Tupac or something like that?
I've been hearing stuff like that, and I could see that, bro, because her and you know, her and Pac was tight, bro, from way back before Will. You know what I mean? So I could see him feeling some type of way about that. But did I personally hear that? No. Nah, but I you know, I could see that being like, I could see that happening for sure. Because she was tight with him. You know what I mean?
You're right, yeah. Yeah, I heard that, man. I heard that, you know, she wrote the treatment for the video, and I heard that she wanted to be on set, but I think Will Smith stopped her from being on set because of Tupac. I guess he didn't want her around Tupac or something like that.
That could very well be true. You know, I don't want to get entangled in that, but you know what I mean. But yeah, but no, I didn't hear nothing specifically like this nigga Will won't let her. I didn't hear nothing like that, but you know that could very well be. I don't know.
I got you. So I got a 2-part question for you, my man. The first one is, what was your relationship between Tupac, the good moments?
The good moments? Mm-hmm. So, yeah, like the good moment, one of the best moments was when I first met him. You know what I mean? And they was doing nothing but a gangster party. Dash had to beat up, you know what I mean? And Snoop and Pac was in there doing their thing. And it was a good vibe, man. You know, and just, you know, hearing this nigga like busting. Like when it first come on tour, the most wanted niggas in the same damn place at the same damn time, and I was like, yeah, this shit is hard. You know, that was one of the good moments. You know.
And what was your relationship between you and Tupac, the bad moments?
I didn't never really interact with him personally too much, but I got into some shit with the Outlaws before, and he was there. So once the whole East Coast, West Coast shit jumped off or whatever, them niggas knew we was from back east. You know what I mean? So it was me, our whole crew was from back east. Sam Snead was from Pittsburgh. My nigga Sharif was from Brooklyn. Stocks was from Queens. You know what I mean? So my homie, Gene Boogie, he was from Jersey, from where the Outlaws was from. You know what I mean? So my whole shit was, you know, how you niggas is like talking shit about East Coast niggas and y'all from back east. Like I don't get it. Like I'm not on that bandwagon shit, cause I could have jumped on the Blood team or the Crip team if I was, you know what I mean? If I was on some bandwagon shit. I'm from Dayton, Ohio, man. We ain't got gangs. You know what I mean? So when they start doing all that shit, we like, all right, whatever, man. We here to make music, so we not gonna be on that. But this particular night, we was at Can-Am, and they had just got back from Brooklyn shooting a New York video. So I guess Biggie had went on the radio and said, I wouldn't let no niggas come to my town, blah, blah, blah. And they had shot up the video shoot over there in Brooklyn, right? So Pac and the Outlaws and them had just got back from that, right? So we was recording with my man Sharif from Brooklyn, right? So right when these niggas come in, Sharif, for some reason, says Brooklyn in the house on the mic. Okay? These niggas already fired up. I'm like, why did Reef just say that shit? Like, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I'm thinking in my head, why would you say some shit like that, bro? You know these niggas just got shot up. You know what I mean? So, I don't know why he said it. He could have just been in a zone because he was a zone rapper. This nigga was cold-blooded. He was a dope-ass rapper. So, he could have just been in the zone and not been thinking, you know. But he said the shit, and then the shit got all thick, whatever, you know. So I tell my man Boog, hey, let's go in the other studio and listen to some shit. You know what I mean? So Sharif had dreads and my homie had dreads, right? So me and my homie, we sitting in the other studio listening to music and shit. And next thing you know, the outlaws come in there. One of the outlaws take off on the homie. You know what I mean? Right? So I'm like, oh, hell nah. Because I'm already mad about all this bullshit y'all doing East Coast, West Coast. I'm out here to do music. This my shot. And y'all on some bullshit. You know what I mean? That was my thoughts. So I was already kind of hot behind that shit. So, bro. So when he took off on the homie, I just jumped him. The homie started fighting his way out. You know what I mean? And here come more niggas coming in. So the nigga in front of me, I'm just taking off on him. I'm getting punched in the head and everything. You know what I mean? So I look over and my buddy Butter, I don't know if y'all know Bud, you know Bud, that did Bow Down and all that shit. He trying to get in it, but Tupac holding him back like, don't get in it, homie, don't get in it. You know what I mean? So I'm looking like, oh, this nigga Pac in here? Okay, he next. You know what I mean? So I'm on that shit. So finally the security run in. And then all them niggas run out. You know what I mean? Well, so I guess, I make it to the parking lot, right? So I'm out there. Should come out. Hey, what the fuck happened? Like, oh no, man, them niggas just jumped me. But you can bring all them niggas out one at a time. We can get down. Pac too. You know what I mean? So my whole shit was like, at that point, fuck Tupac and fuck all them niggas. You know what I mean? Like, I'm out here to do music and they on some bullshit. And it ain't, why y'all jumping on me? But I guess come to find out, they thought my buddy was Sharif. Because they both had dreads. You know what I mean? But I ain't caring about that. I'm just like, we over here minding our business. And you know, at that point, it had started getting to the point where it wasn't about the music no more. It's just niggas, you know, fighting pit bulls in the fucking sound booth and, you know what I mean? Like, you know, come on, nigga. Like, this ain't what it's about. You know what I mean? So that was at the point Drake was getting ready to leave too. You know what I mean? So, so she'll come out like, hey, well, hold on, let's work this all out. We got a Christmas party tonight. Come to the Christmas party. We'll work all this shit out. You know what I mean? Okay, you're not gonna fight everybody, you flex. You know what I mean? So I'm like, all right, man, fuck it. You know what I mean? So, but I ain't going to no fucking Christmas party. Fuck that. At that point, I'm like, I ain't coming to nothing else. You know, so that was the last interaction I had with Tupac. You know what I mean? Where he didn't put his hands on me, but he was holding the homie back. You know what I mean? But I was getting it with his dudes though. You know, so that's when I was like, man, these niggas is on some bullshit. You know, so that's how that went down.
Sam Snead, that's a real good friend of yours, right?
Yeah, well, Dre introduced me to Sam Snead, but yeah, we stayed tight over the years. We stayed cool over the years. I just saw Snead last year, you know, and man, this nigga was putting together a epic album, bro. Like, I wish that shit would have came out at that time. Like, he would have bowled niggas over, man. I'm telling you. Like, he has so many talented dudes on that album. Like I said, Sharif, Drama. Now that you might know him as Stocks McGuire, but back then he was Drama. Like, he has some heavy hitters, dude. I was not the sharpest tool in that shed, homie. I'm gonna keep it real with you, because my style was more simple. I mean, this is nigga Sharif and Drama. They was on some Nas level shit. You know what I mean? Like killing them. And then Sneed was handling the beats, and you know Sneed could write a little bit too. And oh man, we was about to get him, dog. You know, but you know that's why I was so upset. Like, man, y'all slowing the process, man. Let's let it be about the music. I was always about the music, which was why I steered clear of most of the drama. You know what I mean? But yeah, bro. So yeah, me and Sneak still cool. We still cool.
You know, I had a few people on my platform, man. I had Kenya Ware,
Yeah.
Napoleon, 6'8".
Yeah.
You know, they all told me from their point of view the story between the incident that happened between Sam Snead and Tupac.
Right.
But you being real close to Sam Snead, you being real close to Dr. Dre.
Yeah.
Give me the story from your point of view.
All right, cool. From my point of view, it was only a couple weeks that only passed before this meeting, right? I had just gotten some shit at Can-Am like a week or two before that, right? So Snead calls me and say, hey, it's a meeting today. I said, you would be dumb to go to that motherfucker. You would be a dumb motherfucker to show up. He said, well, Snead, he a little brave nigga. You know, Pittsburgh, them niggas is tough. But he like, man, I ain't running. I'm like, I ain't running either, but I'm not walking into an ambush. You know what I mean? I'm like, bro, don't go to that motherfucker. I told him like 2 or 3 times, don't go. I said, if they ask where I'm at, I'm out of town. I'm not going back up in that motherfucker ever. You know what I mean? So he went. You know what I mean? It turned out the whole meeting was about him. You know what I mean? And so I wasn't at the meeting, so I can't tell you the exact things that happened, but what I heard was that him and Pac had started getting into it, and then niggas started jumping into it. You know what I mean? But the whole thing was, in my opinion, he took a ass whooping because they couldn't get to Dre. You know what I mean? And you know, Snead was still kind of trying to, because he was signed to death row just like I was. You know what I mean? So he's still trying to kind of navigate it between Suge and Dre. You know what I mean? And to me, it was some bullshit because I feel like they started talking about all the East Coast niggas he had in the video or whatever, because Cool G Rap and Big Chuck and all them niggas was in the video, you know. And then they was trying to act like he excluded everybody else. But the thing is, he invited everybody. You know what I mean? He invited everybody to be in the video. Niggas just ain't show up. You know what I mean? But he invited people to be in the video. You know, and you know, it was niggas from the Dog Pound on the set. You know what I mean? So, you know, it ain't like they didn't know about the video and couldn't, you know, and he kept it secret or some shit like that. But that's how they twisted it, you know, because they was, you know, they was trying to give Pac a boss position or whatever. So Pac kind of initiated that. You know what I mean? He kind of instigated that, and it you know, it escalated into whatever it became. But Snead got a beating in that motherfucker. You know what I mean? But the thing about it is, he could have avoided that. And I tell Snead to this day, bro, I told you not to go, man.
And after the incident, you know, when they beat up Sam Snead, they made him go to Snoop acquittal party.
That's what I heard. I heard that, you know, he had to go up to... We hung out at Monty's anyway. That was the spot. It was in Westwood, at the top of Westwood, so you could see all of Westwood and everything. And they had some good steak. I'm still cool with the owner of Monty's, Mike. You know, he still got one in the valley. But he probably did. He probably did have... I seen him the next day, and he was, you know, he had a couple marks on him, and he was like, man, that was some bullshit. He was like, man... You know, I was like, bruh, I told you not to go. You know what I mean? But Snead a brave little dude, man. And I ain't saying that he had to back down from them or nothing like that. I'm just saying it's an ambush, homie. You know what I mean? Like it's an ambush, and I already knew the shit they was on because I had just gotten some shit a couple weeks before that. You know what I mean?
And you think the motive behind that was simply because of Dr. Dre? Because if I'm not mistaken, Dr. Dre left the label at that time, right?
Yeah, I think it's because Dr. Dre left the label. Sam Snead and us, our crew was the closest to Dre, as far as we was the ones that worked the most with Dre. We was the only ones that wasn't gang related. You know what I mean? Everybody else was either in Snoop crew or in Suge crew. You know what I mean? And we was the out of towners that Dre himself recruited. You know what I mean? So they considered us like Dre's pet project or whatever. So we can't get to Dre. We can get to his people that's still here though. You know what I mean? So that's what I think it was. I think it was like a fuck you to Dre because he was still cool with all us. Actually, he had called a meeting and he was taking all of us. You know what I mean? So he called a meeting. It was me, Snead, Butter, Drama, Stocks, and all them. So our whole little crew that was on Sam Snead album, he was going to take us to Aftermath, right? So he's like, I'm starting a new label. I'm taking y'all with me, blah, blah, blah. We like, all right, cool. And then, but me and Snead is the only ones that had contracts with Death Row. You know what I mean? So I'm like, well, how we going to get out of these contracts? You know what I mean? He's like, I'll take care of it. Don't worry about it. All right, cool. So I go over there and start writing. That's how I wrote Been There, Done That. You know what I mean? Because, I'm already at record one. I'm still on Death Row, but I'm already at record one writing. And so I think they did that because Snead hadn't chose sides yet. You know what I mean? And he was like the most major figure they could get to say fuck Dre. You know what I mean?
And I heard after that incident where Sam Snead got ambushed and beat up or whatever, I heard he just disappeared.
He moved to Atlanta after that. He did. Because at the same time, a lot of people don't know, Sam was dealing with brain cancer, man. He had a tumor in his head. And he beat that shit and came back from it. That's why I was like, this is one of the strongest little niggas I know. You know what I mean? He came back from brain cancer and all that, bro, and bounced back.
So he had brain cancer when the incident happened?
I don't know if he had it then but shortly after he found out about it, you know what I mean?
Terrible,
and so he moved to Atlanta, and he's doing real good now, though. Shout out to him. And him and Dre reconnected and everything. So he doing his thing now, but, I just wish he would have listened to me that day, man. But he had his reasons for going or whatever, because he was trying to be up front with everybody. He wasn't trying to do no shady shit with Dre or Suge. You know what I mean? So,
how did that affect your relationship with Tupac after Tupac did that to your man?
Well, when I had this situation with the Outlaws, at that point I was like, fuck Tupac, fuck the Outlaws, fuck all them niggas. You know what I mean? Like, so my whole shit at that point was like, fuck him. I'm gonna ride out here with Dre because I was under the impression that Dre was gonna take care of my contract, but he didn't do that. You know what I mean? He saved himself. And at this point, I guess I can't blame him. He had to get out and do his own thing. But then don't tell us that you gonna take care of it if you're not. You know what I mean? So it came to a point where I had to look out for me and said, well, damn, I'm still signed to Death Row. You know what I mean? So I got to do what's best for me. And at that point, Suge wanted to talk to me. You know what I mean? So my manager was like, we need to go holler at Suge. He wanted to talk to you. Well, Suge had always been straight up and down with me. He had never done no dirty shit to me. You know what I mean? So I wasn't like, fuck Suge. I was like, fuck Pac and the Outlaws. You know what I mean? So, at that point is like the little aftermath, Death Row split. I don't know if y'all want to get into that or.
Yeah, we definitely gonna get into that. But out of curiosity, because you still cool with Sam Snead, how do Sam Snead feel about Tupac now?
I don't know, man. It's funny because once he was killed, bro, it was like all beef was released, homie. You know what I mean? And I don't know, it's gonna sound corny, but this nigga came to me in a dream, man. You know what I mean? Like, he was sitting like right here next to me, bro, and he was like, "We cool." I'm like, "We cool." You know what I mean? But yeah, all the beef was deaded. Once he got killed, they had a big meeting at Can-Am, and Outlaws. Everybody was there. Uh, Yo-Yo, everybody, all the Death Row people, and they played us the video. They had just finished the video for "I Ain't Mad at You," and it went down like it went. It was some wild shit because if you remember that video, it was eerie as shit. Because if you remember that video with Bokeem and him, and it kind of went down the same fucking way, and they had shot this video before. And I was like, oh, man, that shit was eerie. Like, it was just quiet after that for a long time. You know what I mean? And then, you know, Suge aired the shit out, bro. He was like, look, it's niggas in the room that got beef. Y'all can't be beefing with each other because this nigga's trying to kill all y'all. You know what I mean? So I stood up like, yep, I got beef with these niggas right here, but I'm willing to squash it. You know, nobody deserved that. You know what I mean? And then we started talking about it like, oh, we thought dude was Sharif. We didn't know you was Flex or whatever. You jumped in the shit. I was like, I did jump in it because that was my homie. You know what I mean? And so we squashed all the beef. I'm cool with Edie them. I'm cool with Napoleon, all of them. You know what I mean? But before that, I was like, fuck them niggas, you know. But we did. We squashed the beef, man. Like men, we talked the shit out, and you know, that was that.
Yeah, man, but to go back to the Sam Snead thing, man, that's terrible, man. That dude seemed like, I don't know him personally, but seemed like a cool dude, man. Like
he is a cool Sam. He an old school nigga. Like he a hustler. He come from a long line of hustlers. You know what I mean? And you know, I think once Pac died, he a spiritual dude. So I think once he died, I feel like he let all that go, man. Yeah, man. I don't feel like he got no animosity towards nobody, man. You know.
Yeah, shout out to Sam Snead, man. I heard he doing his thing now too, right? Like I seen some pictures from Kenya. She posted a picture of him with Dr. Dre or whatever. Like he working with Dre.
Yeah. I know he had came out here and Dre had flew him out, and he was staying at Beverly Hills Hotel. I went over there and saw him and Kenya and them, and John was over there, you know, and it was a good time, bro. And he in a good place. He's married, you know. His wife is wonderful, so he in a good place right now, man. You know.
When you heard Tupac hit him up, what did you think about it?
I knew I had seen Faith out here. I knew she had came out here, and then when he was like, "I fucked your wife," niggas, I was like, "Ooh." I was like, "It's really on now." You know what I mean? Like. When I heard that shit, I was like, it's really on now. You know, but that's the shit he was on at that point. He was like energized, dog. Like Suge put that battery in his back and he was gone, bro. And I thought it was gonna get a reaction. I thought it was gonna get a reaction, but and it did. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, I don't think that set off the beef. I don't think it escalated it either, because they was already at each other. But I think it put fuel in the tank for sure.
Right. So you seen Faith Evans out here? Like you seen her in Cali and all that?
She was out here, bro. They did a jam on All Eyes on Me.
Yeah, Wonder Why They Call You Bitch.
Yeah, Wonder Why They Call You Bitch. Yeah, she was out here, standing at the Peninsula. I remember that.
You know, Mary J. Blige, she used to hang around Death Row too, right? Mary J. Blige and Puff Daddy, baby mama Misa, they was around Death Row.
Misa Hilton, yes sir. I tell you what, man, it was one of the coldest parties I ever been to, besides the Dre one, was when Suge had Club 662, and they had a party, bro. And after I say maybe 2:00, they was like, all right, they kicked out all the people that was just club goers, and then it was just like death row people in there, bro. And it was a private show. Mary J, Jodeci, Snoop, Michelle A, bro. I mean, like the party was cracking with live performances. You know what I mean? Like Danny Boy, like the shit was one of the wildest, crazy. Like, but with talent on the stage. You know what I mean? Like it was dope, bro. But yeah, I know. I remember seeing a picture of Misa. You know,
Cause Suge Knight used to mess with her, right?
yeah, she used to be around. They was big on that. They was big on the other niggas bitches or whatever. You know what I mean? Like that was a way to say fuck you. You know what I mean? So did he really fuck Faith or not? I don't know. I know she was out here. That's all I know.
And Tupac used to mess around with Mary J. Blige, right?
I don't know about that, bro. I know I seen him with Sally Richardson and Kadada. Them the only two girls I really ever seen him with.
So, Death Row, man, what was the reaction around Death Row with all the other artists when Tupac dropped him up? Like, how did everybody else feel about that song?
I don't know. They was just on the wagon, bro. Like, oh, he killed that nigga, boy. It was like paintings with Biggie getting done in the butt in Suge office. You know what I mean? Like somebody painted that shit. You know what I mean? Like they went all the way with it, dude. You know, and but the thing that made it deadly was that it was connected to the street. You know what I mean? Had that shit just been on wax, then it would have been funny. You know what I mean? But the fact that it was connected in Compton on both sides, that's what made it deadly. You know.
Suge Knight, did you see any incidents with Suge Knight where he, beat anybody up or?
And how could you not? You know what I mean? Like, but here's the thing about Suge. He always did right by me because he was cool with my manager, Karen. You know what I mean? So he always did right by me. But did I see niggas get, yeah, everybody saw that. You know what I mean? That wasn't no secret, But what niggas don't say is that a lot of the motherfuckers had it coming. You know what I mean? Like, and that's just how they ran shit. Like, if you violated, you got fucked up. You know what I mean? That's how they ran shit.
So give me a story or two, man, of a Suge Knight incident.
Okay, well, we was in the Bahamas. And Suge could tell you this one. We was in the Bahamas. And Roger was over there. And Roger's brother, the one that killed him, was over there. Right? So they playing us tracks. So Roger, he from my hometown. I'm fucking with him regardless, right? So Suge like, hey, I want y'all to hear these tracks. Like, all right. So we listening. He put up the first track. Nigga, that's dance floor. You know what I mean? Like, okay, that's dance floor with the words taken off. You know what I mean? He played the next joint. Or that's Do I Diddy with the words taken off. Like, they just gave us instrumentals to their old shit. But I'm telling Suge, tell him to leave it. I'll still rap on it. You know what I mean? Because I'll still rap on it just for the fact that it's Roger. You know what I mean? So I guess Suge told him, all right, well just leave the reels and they'll do it, And then I guess Roger brother says some shit like, oh, we ain't leaving nothing until we get paid, blah, blah, blah. So Suge like, let me talk to you. They go around the corner here, boom. What the hell going on over there? Run around there, Suge got this nigga up on the wall like this by his neck. He's like, oh, what? Roger like, come on, man, come on. And I'm like, Suge, man, chill. So, he let him down, but but dude was kind of sideways anyway. The brother was a little sideways and, fucking Rogers off. You know what I mean? So, but that's the only one I could say that I really just saw with my own eyes where I was right there, But I didn't heard a million stories. I didn't see the after effects. I didn't walked in and seen blood on the floor. Like, what the hell?
The infamous Red Room, man. You know anything about that? Any stories about the Red Room?
Yeah. I had a room in the studio. They had a room in Death Row. The niggas get worked over. You fuck up, they gonna take you in there. You gonna get worked. Gangsters too, not just you know what I mean. Not just artists or people that worked at Death Row. You know, there's been a couple G's that caught it because they did some shit wrong. You know, bootlegging some shit or whatever they did. You know what I mean? So it was a across the board thing. If you worked for that nigga, you was gonna if you fucked up, you was gonna feel it. You know.
Yeah, man. So the game politics, the fights, the drama. How was you able to navigate through all that?
You know what, man? I had to say, cause my dad, bro. My dad was like a dope boy. You know what I mean? So he just watching him how he move and shake, but he was still a real cordial guy, and you know what I mean. And so really the only time I got into some funk is when they brought it to me. I never really, but the thing was, they knew I was about the music. You know what I mean? So that kind of gave me a pass. Because once I came in and they saw, oh, he ain't with this gang shit. He ain't with that. You know what I mean? He just there to do music. Once they saw that, they was like, oh, he ain't no threat. So they didn't really bother me with that shit. But then when they see me stand up and fight niggas, then they was like, oh, but he ain't soft neither. You know what I mean? So I was able to navigate it, and plus, my manager was cool with Suge, and I was cool with Dre. You know what I mean? My manager was cool with Suge and Dre, so that's kind of how I got caught in the split. That was really the only time it was any drama that I was directly involved in. But other than that, man, focusing on the music is what kept me out of that other shit. Because I could feel the other shit when it was about to happen, and I bounce. You know what I mean? And that's one thing that's good about being raised in the hood or the ghetto or whatever you want to call it, is when the funk finna pop off, and you just remove yourself from it. But it was niggas that was gung ho about that shit, like just to be down. Like, I'm with the business. Like, no, I'm not with the business unless you bring it to me. Then I'm all the way with it. You know what I mean? So just having that attitude, I think, is what saved me.
Right. You made a comment earlier. You said that when y'all was on set for the California Love video, you seen tension between some of the Death Row members like Dre, Tupac, and stuff like that. What are some of the other stuff you seen? Because that was the beginning when you first seen tension. Tell me when you seen it. You was like, okay, shit getting real.
I think the remix of the California Love video shoot, right? I had already started hearing rumors of niggas doing dumb shit. You know what I mean? And I was just like, I don't even want to go to that video. You know what I mean? I already know, because it was starting to be a split, right? Because I was trying to figure out what was up with my loot. You know what I mean? So I had already started meeting with Suge, and I said, Suge, what's going on? And then he's like, well, I could get you your money, but I don't want to start running up a hill and turn around and you not there with me. So I'm like, what is he talking about? You know what I mean? So I asked Dre, like, hey, Dre, he talk about he don't want to run up a hill. He was like, well, what was said? What was said? Like, he want to know what was said. So then I'm like, these niggas is beefing. You know what I mean? Something's up. This is before he told us he was splitting. You know what I mean? But it was dumb shit going on, man. Like, niggas holding guns on engineers at the studio. Like, dumb shit. Like I said, niggas fighting pit bulls in the motherfucking in the $1,000 a day fucking studio, which was a lot back then. You know what I mean? So
crazy, man.
That type of just nigga shit, bro. Like, when keeping it real goes wrong. You know what I mean? Is what it was.
So what was the reason why Dr. Dre left? like what do you think the final straw was where Dr. Dre was like, all right, man, I'm out. I don't care about the money. I'm gonna leave the money. I'm everything I worked on. I'm just out, man.
I think he was tired of the drama and the bullshit. You know, to the point he didn't even come to Can-Am to work no more. He was just he had a SSL board at his house. He didn't need to come to Can-Am. And then, you know, it was little grumblings like, oh, Dre don't even fuck with us. You know, niggas starting to talk like that and, you know, starting to be division like that. But what niggas don't know is also you got Jimmy in Dre ear.
Jimmy Iovine.
Yeah. Like, because Jimmy got an eye and an ear for some some stupid nigga shit. You know what I mean? He got an eye and ear for that. He already looking at his golden goose like, okay, this is my golden goose right here. Let me start getting in his ear and get him over here and just let that shit sink. Because he got rid of Pac in the first place. You know what I'm saying? He got rid of Pac from Interscope to Death Row. You know?
So, how did you feel, and if you have any knowledge, how did Dr. Dre feel when Suge Knight and Tupac was calling him gay?
He don't pay no attention to that type of shit, man. Like, he just was trying to be over here getting his money, and he just felt like they was mad. You know what I mean? And so he wasn't paying no attention to that, bro. He felt like he was turning over a new leaf over there at Aftermath because he was like, okay, I'm my own boss now. By that time, he had wised up as far as how to run a business, you know, because he had already got jerked by Easy. You know what I mean? Then Suge got him out of that. And then it looked like he was out of the frying pan into the fire. You know what I mean? So he's like, he wanted a whole new thing. So that's what he told us. He's like, I'm starting my whole new thing over here. I'm going to take y'all with me. You know, and we're going to do a whole new thing without all that bullshit, but with the music, though. Because one thing about Dre that kept him going, he was focused on, it's always been about the music for him. You know what I mean? And then for a lot of the guys, it has started not being about the music no more. It was about the beef. You know what I mean? It was about the image and we the baddest motherfuckers on the block. You know what I mean? And that type of shit. It wasn't about the music no more.
How did Dr. Dre feel about Tupac Discipline? Because he dissed him on the end of To Live and Die in L.A. It was another song that was an unreleased song called Wash Your Mouth where he dissed Dre on that song as well.
Yeah.
How did Dr. Dre feel about them tracks? Even Toss It Up. He dissed Dre on Toss It Up.
Yeah, he did. Dre didn't pay attention to that shit, man. I mean, he might have deep down felt some way about it, but he didn't show it. I dissed Dre. You know what I mean? Like, RBX dissed Dre. You know what I mean? Like, and then niggas go back over there to him. You know what I mean? So it's like, he not tripping off no diss songs, bro.
How did you feel about them songs when you heard them? When you was on Death Row with like Toss It Up and To Live and Die in L.A.? How did you feel?
I just felt like it was more of the same stupid shit. But the only thing that bothered me about it was that it was connected. It was connected to the street on a lot of, like, not Toss It Up and all that, but Hit 'Em Up. That was, you know what I mean? That could have started, that was connected on both sides of Compton, you know, so that part right there, I was like, oh, that could be deadly. But as far as Toss It Up and all that, Dre had already left, and in reality, Death Row the Titanic had already struck the iceberg. You know what I mean?
No diggity and Toss It Up. Give me the backstory behind that.
Okay, so right about the time right before I left from Aftermath, Teddy Riley had sent over a couple tracks. Like, so the one he sent over was the Fix, the one that's got the message beat in there. And then he sent No Diggity. He wanted Dre to rap on one of them. So I told Dre, hey, I like that message one. That if you need a fix, that shit was hard. I was like, I like the one that sounded like The Message. But Dre liked the other one, the No Diggity one, you know. So he was like, yeah, I'm gonna bust on one of these, you know. And but that was right before I left. You know what I mean? So once I left, he got Stocks to write the No Diggity verse. So that's my man Drama or Stocks McGuire. He the one that wrote No Diggity, the verse, the rap verse. Yeah, so yeah, that was Teddy Riley was also at Interscope. And so Blackstreet had shot those two beats over to Dre to see which one he wanted to get on. And I told him get on the Fix, but he got on No Diggity.
So was it a situation where they tried to steal the beat from Dr. Dre or whatever? Like, because I know Toss It Up sounds very similar to No Diggity.
Yeah, well, see, at that point, Suge was on do the same shit they doing, but clown them with it. You know what I mean? So I wrote Been There, Done That for him, right? So then Suge was like, you should come back with who been there, who done that. You know what I mean? Because he was just trying to mirror whatever he was doing, like, and clowning with it, like parody. You know what I mean? So, and then they was like, I was like, but that's biting. He was like, but it ain't biting because you wrote that song too. You know what I mean? So how you gonna say you bit? Well, you wrote both of them. You know what I mean? So I was like, well, yeah, you got a point there. So when Toss It Up, I think they wanted it to sound like No Diggity on purpose, so they could know that they was dissing them. Like we got Aaron Hall, we got who else they had in there?
I think Aaron Hall,
Daddy Boy,
I think KC,
JoJo. Like, so they like we got the real hitters over here, and Pac. So Pac dissing Dre on that, and then they got this real sing. Like, we got some real singers over here, not these niggas, you know, because Blackstreet was considered like singers, you know. So they was doing that on purpose.
How was your relationship with Suge Knight?
Like I said, straight up and down. He never really did me dirty to where I could have any problem with him. You know what I mean? Like I said, my manager Karen had a really good relationship with Suge, so therefore it was always business with me and Suge. You know, it's funny because he invited me to the fight that they went to. He was like, you know, me and Pac going to the fight. You should come. We could squash all this shit, whatever. You know what I mean? And I was like, yeah, you know, Tyson fight. And I'm like, man, maybe it's time to squash this shit. You know what I mean? And so, but Karen was like, I wouldn't go, bro. And I knew I had told Sneed not to go. You know what I mean? And I was like, you probably right. You know what I mean? So he's like, come on, you get on the plane with us. And I was like, nah, I'm cool, man. I'm cool. You know, I'm just going to watch it. And then he was like, all right, cool. And they boned out. You know what I mean? So I could have been there, dog. You know. Just like I was there the night I talked to Biggie 20 minutes before he got killed. And if you watch the little interview with his security dude, he talk about me. He's like, dude had his little pendant on, and he said, hey, yo, Big, I just want to do music, blah, blah, blah. He talk about me, bro. And I talked to Biggie like 20 minutes before he got killed, bro. Like, because they was watching me because I was the only nigga there with a death row chain on. You know what I mean? So I seen everybody looking, so I'm like, I'm just going to go over there and talk to him, you know. So I just went over there. It's like, I just want to holler at Big, bro. And this dude let me buy him. And I was like, yo, Big, I ain't tripping, homie. I want to do some music. Let's get together and do some music. And he was like, cool, holler at Puff, you know. And so I went over, hollered at Puffy. Puffy wrote a number down. He's like, call Bad Boy, talk to Derek. You know what I mean? I was like, all right, I'm going to call Bad Boy and talk to Derek. But, of course, I didn't call Bad Boy and talk to Derek after that night. You know what I mean? But, yeah, man, I was there that night, you know.
You made a few comments earlier in the interview where you said that Suge Knight put a battery in Tupac back or whatever.
Right.
You said when Tupac first joined Death Row, he was cool, everything was good. Then by the time y'all shot the California Love video, he started acting a little funny or whatever. So with that being said, man, do you think Suge Knight was a bad influence on Tupac?
You know what? I think he was. I think they was a bad, if not a bad influence, but I think there was an influence on each other, because I think if Pac would have took it the right way, Suge could have been a real good mentor for him, business wise and all that. You know what I mean? Because it ain't like Suge said, "You got to be a blood now." You know what I mean? Or no shit like that. It's that Pac gravitated to that. You know what I mean? And Suge was just like, well, I got the little homie back regardless. So if Pac would have been like, hey, Suge, I'm here for the music, homie. You know what I mean? I'm here to take y'all to the top, and this is how we gonna do it. If he would have had a vision like that, Suge would have got behind that. You know what I mean? But he gravitated to the, you know, they had him in the hood, and he loved that. He loved it. He embraced that. You know what I mean? You know, and you know, he took it and ran with it. Like, wait, cause you got to remember where he came from. He came from New York. You know what I mean? Where he wanted to be accepted out there. You know what I mean? But when the whole shit happened, he felt like they didn't have his back. Where I feel like, nah, bro, they feel like you knew who you was kicking it with. You know what I mean? Like, you don't sit there and say shit about some niggas like that. You know, if you would have came out here and said some shit about Suge like that, you would have got fucked up too. You know what I mean? So, but when he came out here, they embraced him. They did. Everybody loved Tupac when he came out here, bro. They showed him love. And I don't know if he had love like that before, where everybody showed him love, bro. You know, and I feel like he just felt like he wanted to be a part of that. But he was that type of nigga, wherever he went, he became that. You know what I'm saying? When he was with Digital Underground, he was Humpty Hump dance nigga. You know what I mean? When he was Bishop, when he was with Juice. You know what I mean? When he was with his mom and them, he was Black Panther. You know, and when he got out here, he was Pyru. And that's what got him killed. You know what I mean? But all in all, dude, he had that other side too that was prophetic. He was a prophet. He was a prolific artist. You know what I mean? He was one of the first like gangster ass rappers that touched women with his rhymes. You know what I mean? Like women really dug Pac because he talked directly to them. You know what I mean? Like, he had uplifting shit to say to women, bro. You know what I mean? So, you know, he had that other side too. You know, and I just feel like he lost the battle within himself. You know, because he had that godly side too that was here to uplift our people, and he did to some extent. He did uplift our people. You know, but you know, it's the battle that's going on in all of us. You know, sometimes we win it, sometimes we lose it. You know, this gangbanging shit is real. This shit is real. And I'm lucky that I had a cousin that was from Compton that let me know from the gate, don't play with that shit. That shit is real. These niggas will lay you out. You know what I mean? And so I had a cousin from Compton that instilled that in me not to fuck with that. So by the time I got out here, I was already grown, and I had just came out the service, dog. You know, I was Desert Storm and all that. So I wasn't with none of that foolishness. Like, hey, bro, I'm about the music, you know. But Pac came out of jail, and he felt like nobody had his back, and then all of a sudden, all these niggas got his back. You know, he like, I want to be a part of that. Like on Colors, when dude like, I went in. You fucked up, Holmes. You joined the gang. You know what I mean? You know, real talk, bro.
The Mike Tyson Seldon fight. Suge Knight asked you to go to that fight, right?
Yeah, he said, "Come on out, man." He invited me. He said, you can talk to Pac. Y'all can get y'all shit square. I'm like, all right, man, cool. At first, I was excited, like, all right, cool. I'll meet y'all. And then, the homegirl Karen was like, "Ooh, dude, for real? Like, I don't know if I would go. Like, shit been going down." I'm like, yeah, you right, probably. So I told him, nah, man, I'm gonna just watch it out. I already ordered it. I'm gonna just watch it out the house. He like, all right, he wasn't tripping. So watched it at the house, bro. Seen them niggas backstage and all that. Like, damn, I could have been there. Then later, I was like, damn, I could have been there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. So what was your reaction when you heard the news that Tupac got shot in Vegas?
Like everybody else, I was like, damn, again? And then I was like, oh, he'll make it. He'll make it. I was like, I wonder what the fuck happened. And so then this shit started unraveling. But the street knew what happened that night. They knew who did it, what happened. Niggas already knew. But the news is speculating and all that shit. But niggas already knew what happened, bro. He, jumped in some gang shit. And that's what happened.
How did Dr. Dre feel about that at that time? Did you
Sad.
communicate with Dr. Dre and Sam Snead at that time? Because I'm pretty sure they was probably calling.
Nah, by that time I had already broke off from over there. You know what I mean? I was already kicking it back with Suge them because
Right.
that's why he was like, "Come on back so y'all can iron this shit out." You know what I mean?
What was your reaction when you heard the news that Tupac passed away?
It was sad, bro. I remember Julio G said the shit on the night. That's when they had the beat, 92.3. Julio G was like, said it. Then he played how many niggas fall victim to the street. Rest in peace, young nigga. There's heaven
Life
for
goes
G.
on.
And so I was sad, man. But I was more sad at the circumstances. You know what I mean? But I was sad for him too because he was such a talent and such a gift to the world, bro. The fact that how he got caught up, I was more pissed off about that. Like, damn, nigga, like, why this could have been avoided. And so it was sad, bro. It was a sad day. I felt bad for a lot of the fans. And I felt bad for hip hop because I knew that was gonna start some more. That wasn't the end of it. The fact that that shit was all connected to the street, I knew that was just the start of some shit. That wasn't the end. You know what I mean?
Do you think Tupac joining Death Row was his downfall?
Yeah, I think Tupac joining Mob Piru's was his downfall. Not Death Row. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Yeah. So, how you feel about all the conspiracy surrounding Tupac death? Like, you got some people that say that Orlando Anderson was a government plant. You got some people that say Suge Knight has something to do with Tupac death. How you feel about all the rumors, all the conspiracies?
Cocaine is a hell of a drug, bro. You know what I mean? Motherfuckers gonna spin conspiracies, do whatever. Gangbanging killed Tupac and Biggie Smalls. There it is. Cut and dry. You know what I mean?
The whole chain snatching incident that happened at Lakewood Mall.
Yeah.
Did you hear about that when it first happened?
Well, yeah, I mean, I heard about the beef with Southside. You know what I mean? And I remember Trey. You know what I mean? It was certain homies that hung around Suge a lot. He was one of them. So the thing about them niggas is if they would have saw Lane and Tupac wouldn't have done shit, like, y'all better go get that nigga. If he would have said that, they would have handled it. He would have been out of that shit. You know what I mean? But he wasn't that type of dude. He went at everything 100%, so. But did I hear about the particular chain snatching? No, but I knew it was beef between them, and I knew that they was doing security for Big. You know what I mean?
Do you believe the rumors that Tupac was going to lead Death Row?
I'm not sure. I mean, it could have been possible because the thing about it is, he worked so fast. Like, I don't even think Suge was used to somebody having that type of work ethic where, he's used to guys coming in, maybe do one song or two songs in a 12-hour session. You know what I mean? And Pac is coming in and he's doing a song every 20, 30 minutes. Done, stacked, everything. You know what I mean? So in this short period of time, he got 200 or 300 songs. Like he did in less than 2 years. He did what another artist take a lifetime to do. 7 or 8 albums, like that in a year and a half time, 2 years time. So I don't think he was used to somebody working that fast and fulfilling their contract that fast. You know what I mean? And so I know he was pretty tight with Kadada, you know what I mean? And I know Quincy was looking at him, because Quincy's the type of guy to take a rapper and look what he did for Will Smith. Imagine what he could have did for Pac. Not saying Will ain't talented. Will talented too. But look what he did for Will. So imagine what he was doing. And Pac was getting into movies and shit then too. Oh, man. Quincy Jones and Tupac collaboration, bro, that would have been crazy. So I'm sure he was looking at that. I'm not sure how good he got along with Quincy though, So
that is true that Quincy Jones was planning on working with Tupac.
I don't know, but I'm sure Kadada was working on it. You know what I mean? But if Kadada would have had her way, I'm sure that's the way it would have went. You know what I mean?
And you met Kadada, right? How was it like? You got any stories about Kadada Jones?
Nah, I didn't. I know her brother. I know QD3, but I haven't never really met her. I've seen her, but I didn't never really meet her in person.
The game-related soundtrack. You did a song on the game-related soundtrack called Free 'Em All. Give me the backstory behind that.
Okay. Bro, this backstory gonna be good, bro. Okay. So, after Biggie got killed, Farrakhan invites all the rappers to his house. Okay. So, we all in there, whatever. And so they said, my manager was a woman. So they said, no women. Okay. And no managers. Like, really? All right. So we in Chicago. I was like, we ain't got to go if you don't want to. Because that, off top, that's bullshit to me. You know what I mean? And so my manager was like, no, it's cool. It's cool. I'll find something else to do. Like, all right, cool. So we go to Farrakhan's house or whatever. And he's sitting there. He's talking. He's talking some, the man can speak. You know what I mean? So he's speaking. Everybody listening. So everybody there, bro. Dougie Fresh and Bone Thugs and the Booyah Tribe. And I'm there with the Booyah Tribe, me, Realist, and OFTB. Okay. So all of a sudden he said, well, what we want y'all to do is make an album for the nation, but we keep the proceeds. Let's just do it. Y'all don't need no managers for this. Y'all don't need no this. Y'all don't need no that, whatever. So basically they wanted all the rappers to do an album in the Nation of Islam, get the proceeds, right? So the homie Flipside from OFTV stood up like, I done been used and abused before. Y'all ain't finna use me up in here, nigga. I'm Farrakhan and Watts, right? So, oh man, all the Fruit of Islam niggas stood up like, hey, who invited them? Blah, blah. So they start coming our way. So the Booyah niggas stood up, right? So, them Samoan niggas do not play, right? So, bro, I'm like, man, we finna get into it at Farrakhan house. Y'all can ask the realest about this shit, bro. And then one of Farrakhan's sons was talking. He was like, "Man, we ready to die for this shit too. Like, we don't want no problems. We want to make you part of the committee." They say that the Flip side, right? So Flip calmed down and everything, and then they was like, "See how brothers can work it out, whatever." But at the end of the day, we didn't do that shit. You know what I mean? So, long story short, when I got back, my manager had met with Larry Hoover's wife, and she was telling my manager about the story about Larry Hoover, you know, and how he went to prison, and you know, how he had started gaining political power, so they was trying to shut him down. And so when Gang Related came out, and Biggie had just died, Tupac had died, and Karen was like, "Man, let's not just do the same old gangster shit. Let's try to do something positive," you know. And I wasn't with it, bro. I was like, "What you mean positive?" You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you know. And she was like, "No, we got to do, you know, some positive shit to try to stop this violence and this and that." And I was like, "Yeah, you probably right." So we did A Change to Come with Kool and the Gang and Bahamadia, Confunction, and all them. And then we did Free 'Em All. And that's, we had just met Realist. He was Dominican at the time. And so he was down. He came out from Dallas, and we hooked that shit up, bro. And that was that. So on Free 'Em All, we was like, talk about political prisoners, or talk about who we want to get free. So at that point, Suge was locked up too. So that's kind of how we was like, free 'em all, you know.
You also did a song for the Gorilla soundtrack. You did a song with Lady of Rage.
Yeah.
Give me the backstory behind that, my man.
Lady Heroin. So originally that was a song with me and Sam Snead that was supposed to go on the first album, right? But it never came out at that time until later. We had shot the video. Well, the video for that song was actually the thing that started the whole shit with him and Pac. But so the movie was about heroin. So Suge called us up to Interscope, and they played the movie for us. So I was like, this movie about heroin. We should put Lady Heroin on there. Well, I wanted to put the original, you know, but they was like, no, just redo it just with Joe verses. Because I had wrote the whole song. So it really didn't matter if I used the whole song, because I had wrote it. And so they was like, put Rage on there as Lady Heroin. You know what I mean? So then Rage heard it, kicked her verse. To me, Rage is the coldest female MC ever in my book. You know what I mean? And there's some cold ones. You got MC Light, Latifah, all them, Roxanne, Shantae. But as far as like heavy hitter, to me, Rage is the coldest, because Rage, how she wrote, she freestyled first and then kept the good shit. You know what I mean? So she didn't even need no pen, bro. Like, way before Lil Wayne and all them, she was coming off top, you know, and then she would keep the good parts, you know. So she came in, heard the track. My nigga B Rubs, I did the track, and she came in and was like, off top, my mouth fit in the bloodstream, step in your cream, you know what I'm saying? You fiend to the extreme. I was like, ooh. And so she killed it, bro. Like, Rage to me she's my favorite female MC, dog. I might be a little biased, but that's just my opinion.
What was your issue with Dr. Dre?
Well, I don't have no animosity, because he didn't have to pull over and stop and take my tape. So I'm gonna be forever grateful to him for that. But what he told us was that he was gonna take care of our contractual obligations to Death Row. You know what I mean? And he really just saved himself. And then when I asked him about it, he said, oh, well, why don't you set up this Ghost Publishing Company? You know what I mean? So because Suge ain't getting a dime from me. That was his exact words. So how I looked at it though was, and I can understand he had to make his move, but how I looked at it was, okay, you want me to go behind Suge back and write for you when I ain't really got my proper money in the first place. You know what I mean? But then you want me to go behind Suge back and take chances on crossing this nigga when I see what he do to niggas that cross him. You know what I mean? And then, but you ain't even doing a nigga right. You know what I mean? So to me, that showed me, because he came at the friend role in the beginning, like we was buddies. You know what I mean? So I always thought he was looking out. You know what I mean? But then that kind of showed me that he'll let me take the beat down like Sneed. You know what I mean? Like, and so I started thinking differently. Like, well, damn. And so my manager like, well, Suge want to holler at you, you know. So I'm like, all right. So we go holler at Suge. Suge said, look, man, I knew you was writing the shit, but Dre was my partner, so I roll with him. But he ain't my partner no more. So what you trying to do? You know what I mean? I got you under contract already. He can't get you out. He could barely get himself out. You know what I mean? So it made sense, bro. And I was like, well, I guess I'm staying here, you know. And so, so he was like, they told me you wrote Been There, Done That. Suge said that. I said, yeah, I did. He's like, okay, this is what we gonna do. So they had already started shooting the video for Been There, Done That. So they didn't know that Suge know I wrote it, because I was signed to Suge Publishing and Death Row. So he's, Suge called over there to Jimmy and them like, hey, y'all gonna have to pay him because he's the writer on that song. Like, and I'll do a cease and desist on that motherfucker right now, or whatever he told them. They was mad because they called my manager and like, what the hell is Flex doing? Blah, 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 blah. And then, so Dre assistant called my manager and Dre called me. Dre telling me, you need to fire your manager. What? She just trying to get my money. Why would I fire her? You know what I mean? So it was a whole lot of little bullshit in the game like that. But, it was never no animosity where I'm like, fuck Dre, fuck that nigga. Like, and even with the diss song I wrote, because they wanted me to go there, like, talk about how he gay and this and that. I'm like, no, I ain't saying none of that shit, because I ain't never saw no evidence of that shit. You know what I mean? But what I will talk about is this publishing, these rights, and how the nigga get down. You know what I mean? So I kept my diss song purely factual. You know what I mean?
Oh, so they was trying to get you to say Dr. Dre was...
Yeah, they was trying to get me to say all the shit they got Pac to say. Pac don't know that. You know what I mean? And so, but I was like, what I will do is keep it factual, like how he get down, And so that's how Who Been There, Who Done That came out,
Yeah, I always found that weird that Dr. Dre, he left Death Row, but all the people that was working with him, like you, Sam Snead, Nancy Fletcher, he just left them on Death Row and just kept it moving. Like,
because he couldn't get them out. He couldn't. But if he would have said, look, Flex, I can't get you out, but I got this money for you if you want to write. We got to figure out how to do it. But he didn't say that. He said, I'm going to take care of it. You know what I mean? And so, you can't expect the next nigga to handle your business. That was my part. My fault of it was that I was green and I was starstruck, you know what I mean? And I was just like, oh, he gonna handle it. You know what I mean? And I was just happy to be here,
So for you, what was the last straw for you when you was like, yo, I gotta get out of Death Row, I'm done with this?
Well, that's the thing, bro. I never really left because I always stayed cool with Suge. Even after Pac died and everything, he went to jail and all that, I stayed cool. I'd go see him. I did production for his new artists, for Realist, for Top Dog, Doobie. You know, some of when he did the Chronic 2000 and all that shit, VK and all of them. I was still over there producing, and I wasn't rapping no more. I didn't want to rap on there no more, but I was still doing production. And finally I was like, yo, bro, like I saw the ship sinking and I went to Suge and I was like, man, I need to go find another deal. And he was like, you know what, Flex, you was loyal. I want to see you bubble. I ain't gonna hold you, bro. Go do what you gotta do. You know, but by that time, and me and Karen hit every label, dog. Every label that was out there, from Ruthless to Universal to Warner, everywhere. And the thing was that either they was too scared of Suge or they was up Dre ass and they wasn't fucking with me. You know what I mean? So I never really got off. My contract expired. You know what I mean?
Do you wish you would have left with Dr. Dre?
Nah, because my whole thing is principle, man. You know what I mean? And I did leave with him. I left and I wrote the only hit on that album. I wrote the only hit on this first Aftermath album. You know what I mean? So I did leave with him, but he, the business just they caught me in the middle. You know what I mean? And Suge stood up and he didn't. You know what I mean? So maybe he couldn't. Which is why I don't have no animosity for him. And I don't think he had none for me. I don't think he tripping off that. This nigga got $600 million. He ain't tripping off of me, dog. You know what I mean? But, a lot of people be like, damn, if you would have left with him, look, where would you be now? Not really, because niggas that left with him ain't around him no more. You know what I mean? I don't see Mailman around him no more. I don't see... You know what I mean? I don't see the niggas that left with him around him. So he was kind of a hot and cold nigga anyway. So my daddy told me, bro, and this is what helped me make my decision. He was like, who you want to roll with, the gangster or the crook? You know what I mean? He said, at least a gangster got a set of principles that he stick to. A crook will rob his mama. He don't care. So... I don't regret my decision, bro. Like, and the thing about it is I'm still cool with Dre's brother. I'm still cool with Warren, and I feel like if I seen Dr. Dre today, we'd be cool. Cause he that type of nigga, he don't hold grudges. You know what I mean?
So that's the thing. I mean, you just made a comment saying that Dr. Dre was hot and cold. And I think that was probably one of Tupac issues. Because I remember hearing an interview from Tupac and he was pretty much going in saying that, Dr. Dre wasn't going to any of Snoop Dogg court appearances or whatever. Like, he wasn't supporting Snoop when he was going through that murder trial.
Right.
And I think that was one of his issues. You know what I mean? Like, Dr. Dre acting funny with that.
Well, Dre, bro, he was about the music, bro. He wasn't about the drama. He wasn't about all that shit. You know what I mean? And so he not finna go sit up in court. You know what I mean? Like he not that nigga.
But that was still his man, though. That
was his man. But that was Warren G man. You know what I mean?
I got you.
I mean, him and Snoop made good music together, and they homies now, and they was homies then. But I'm just saying, like, Dre had his own court issues, so he not about to go up and sit up in court for. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, Pac was all about the gang. You know what I mean? Dre was about the label. It was two death rows. It was Death Row the gang and Death Row the record label. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel you. So, Biggie Smalls, you had a relationship with Biggie?
Nah, never met Biggie before that night. Before the night he died.
So, you spoke on it earlier, but just give me a detailed account of that whole incident. You being... you seeing Biggie, 20 minutes before his demise and, you coming up to him, telling him that you wanted to work with him. Just give me a play-by-play detailed account of that whole night.
All right, well, the party was on tilt. Like I said, I done been to some parties, man. Del Rey, Hey, but So, we come in. I seen them. They was looking at me because I had my death row chain on. So they looking at me, and so the party was bumping. They played Hypnotized like 6-7 times in a row. You know what I mean? Missy Elliott and them there, Aaliyah, Genuine, everybody there. You know what I mean? And so finally I told the homies I'm about to go talk to him. They looking over here. I'm gonna just go talk to him. So I go over there and I said, yo, can I holler at Big? I just want to talk to him real quick. And then they was like, yeah. So the dude got an interview about it. He talked about me. But so I was like, hey, Big, I want to make some music together, bro. I ain't even tripping. Like, I just want to make some music together. And, we could squash all this shit. Because by that time, Pac was already dead and Suge was locked up. But Biggie them was super reckless out here, bro. Like, I see him on Sunset. I see him I go to the movies with a bitch. He at the movies. You know what I mean? I see him everywhere. I'm like, these niggas is being reckless. So the homegirl Karen was like, hey, he's acting like it's safe out here. You know what I mean? And so then we seen him at the party. And so I talked to him. He was like, yeah. He was like, I'm down. He was like, holla at Puff about it. So I go right across the table to Puffy, sit down and holla at him. He tell me, call Bad Boy and talk to Derek. So I'm happy. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, man, I'm going to collab with Big. You know what I mean? And so couldn't have been 20 minutes later, man. They shut down the party because it was too full. And we coming down the escalator. And I hear pop, 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 pop. The fuck? Look around. Oh, that shit must be outside. And so when we get outside, it's like mayhem. Fuck happened? Biggie got shot. Oh, damn. You know what I mean? Let's get the hell out of here. You know what I mean? And so by the time I got home, Karen called me and told me he was dead. Because they announced him the same night. You know what I mean? And I was like, damn, that's the end. That's the end. I felt like that was the end of the whole, beef. But I also felt like hip hop was gonna suffer. Like, man, we ain't gonna be able to make no money in this shit no more. They done killed it. You know what I mean?
And Kadada Jones was at that party, right?
It was her party. It was her party. It was a vibe party, which is Quincy Jones.
Did you find that weird that, Tupac passed away 6 months prior and his girlfriend was at a Biggie party living it up?
No, because I thought when I heard he was dead, I was like, they got him, because I knew that it wasn't safe for him to be out here yet. You know what I mean? And now with like the night Pac got killed, everybody knew who did it. But the night Biggie got killed, it was speculation. You know what I mean? Because, niggas was saying, oh, he didn't pay Southsides, so they got him, or Suge got him, or, you know what I mean? Nobody really knew. It was speculation on his. But on Tupac's, it wasn't no speculation. You know what I mean?
Biggie Smalls, he freestyled Long Kiss Goodnight on the radio station, right?
Yeah, he was out on the radio station. That's what I'm saying. They was being reckless. Like, they felt like, and I feel like that's what happened to the little Pop Smoke dude too. I feel like they underestimate the gang culture in Los Angeles. And I feel like that's what saved me. I didn't underestimate it, because I had a cousin, shout out to my cousin Keith Hudson from Compton, that told me, don't fuck with this gangbang shit. You know what I mean? This shit is real. So I feel like if somebody would have told Tupac and Biggie that, they would both be alive. And I don't think Biggie was gangbanging, but I think he underestimated gangbangers. You know what I mean?
And was like Biggie on the like Steve Harvey radio show or something like that?
He was on the radio when he was out here. I remember that.
Right.
Yeah.
Can't See Me. Give me the backstory behind that song. Can't See Me.
Oh, so that was a song that another one that Dre had for his album. You know, that was George. He had George Clinton on it because he was heavy on George Clinton at that time, and you know, George came in and did his thing, and Dre did. I never heard the lyrics. I don't think Dre ever actually put lyrics to that. It was just a beat that they had, and he gave that to Pac when Pac got out.
What was the last time you talked to Dr. Dre?
The last time I talked to Dr. Dre was 1995 or 96 when he told me to fire my manager. That's the last thing I said, let me call you back. That's the last. And the next thing he heard from me was my diss song. You know.
Right.
Mike Lynn had contacted me. Well, I had seen Mike Lynn outside of a club. And he was like, you know, Dre ain't tripping. You know, he still like your style or whatever. We get ready to go out here to Reno and work. And I was like, cool. I was like, I ain't got no beef with Dre. Like, let's get it. I was like, you know, but he gonna have to cut me a check up front just on GP. You know what I mean? And that was the last I heard of it. You know, like I said, I'm still cool with Warren and I'm still cool with his brother Tim. You know what I mean? But and I'm still cool with him. I don't got no beef with him. I don't think he got nothing with me. It's just, you know.
J-Flexx, man. Great interview, man.
Yeah.
Hey, man. Thanks for, stopping by, man. Coming on the platform, man.
I appreciate y'all, and I'm honored to be a part of it, man. I'm glad that you want my insight, you know?
Yeah, man. I mean, it was an honor to have you, man. I hope I can have you back on the platform soon, man. So
Call me anytime, bro. I'm ready.
yes, indeed.